Hey, everybody. We're going to focus today specifically on how to run a one on one meeting to get the greatest level of relationship effectiveness and professional effectiveness, and how all of that can be done in a really short time frame. The way we're going to do it is I'm going to walk you through the what of a one on one before I give you the why. And normally we'd go the other way around. We'd start with the why and then we'd explain what we specifically do. But for this particular one, we need to understand the other way around. We need to understand the details and then we'll explain why we use those details. Now, I would argue one on one meetings between a direct and a supervisor, um, I, I believe it is the most impactful meeting you can possibly have for your company. Now, there's some details and some work involved in it, but let me show you kind of how it works. Nuts and bolts. It is a 30-minute meeting that takes place every week between a direct and a supervisor. Plain and simple. 30-minute meeting. Now, I know some people that want to have 10-minute meetings. I know some people that want to have hour and a half meetings. 30 minutes every week will get you the most effectiveness that you can find. 30 minutes every week. Now, when I say every week, are you saying every single week? And the answer is yes, every single week, 30 minutes. And those 30 minutes are divided into three parts: their world, their job, their future. Those are the three parts every time. Now, if you're going to oversimplify it, you can see it as 10 minutes on their world, 10 minutes on their job, 10 minutes on their future. Those numbers are going to move a little bit here or there, right? But this is key. Now, let's talk about their world, their job, their future so you understand how that fits. During that 30-minute meeting, it's going to work like this. You're going to start the meeting, I would recommend, with the exact same question every single time. And you're going to start with the question of, and you can figure it out for you, something along the lines of, hey, how was your week? Hey, tell me about your week. Whatever it would be. You want to use one question that's very similar every single week. The reason you do this is because if you are the supervisor, you're going to write down whatever answer they give. If you say, hey, how was your week? And they go, fine, write down the word fine. And the next week, how was your week? Fine, write down the word fine. And the next week, how was your week? Fine, write down the word fine. And the next week, how was your week? Okay, okay. Like that's not fine. That's different. That right? You're going to take a mental note to say something needs to be adjusted here, and you can stop and ask some follow-up questions. But you're going to want to know, what are the details of their week? What's going on in their life? This is where you're going to get the chance to ask some of those personal relational questions, not so that you can pretend to be personal and relatable, but because as the supervisor, you truly do care for your people. This is where you're going to ask about the kids. You're going to ask about the pets. You're going to ask about the vacations. You're going to ask about the hobbies. You're going to ask about some of the emotional weight that they may be carrying. You're going to ask about them. But it's key that this is only a portion of your time. I do know some supervisors and some managers that want to spend almost all of their time focused on just what's going on in the life of their directs. And here's why that's not helpful. Is because the direct is there because of the work they're doing. And they want to be able to share, generally speaking, a quality employee wants to be able to share their excitement about the work that they're doing. I'll come back to that in a little bit. But once we move through that, we're going to move to their job. And their job is also going to be a set of, I would recommend, standard questions you're going to ask pretty much every week. Not that you won't ask follow-up questions, but you're going to ask the same starting questions. Hey, what were your top wins of this week? What were your greatest challenges of this week? What are some of the things that you did to overcome those challenges this week? Those three questions right there, if you don't know what else to ask, those three, dramatic, all by themselves. What were your wins? What were your challenges? How did you overcome those challenges? Because then you can follow that up with, hey, what do you need from me to overcome those challenges? Is there anything I can do to help you in that? And you can begin to work through those components. But the point of it is for them to be able to tell you about their job. I know one supervisor who asks one simple question: hey, tell me about what happened this week here at work. And then they just ask follow up questions from there. But either way, you're going to make it about their job. Now, even though you could do this as 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, I usually recommend that their world is 5 to 7 minutes. And this one right here, this one's going to take about 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, right? The job is the key component. The purpose of these meetings is to move the organization forward by making sure that everyone is on the same page, that the supervisors and managers know what's happening, so that the directs are staying current with the information that they have, that they are given accurate information, that they are passing up accurate information, right? This is about the organization. Now, this brings us to the final part, their future. Now, what I mean by their future is this. You're going to spend a few minutes, sometimes 10, sometimes 5, sometimes 1, depending upon what's going on, talking about what's coming up for them. This is going to be used either to pass down what I would call waterfall information, right? Stuff at the top of the fall begins to just filter down to the others, right? So this is where information gets passed down from person to person. If you are pretty high on that waterfall, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have sort of a script that gets passed down to the people underneath you so that they are repeating the exact same words. You don't get much lost in translation that way. But it's going to be waterfall information. This is going to be upcoming projects, calendar events that are taking place that this person may want to know about. Even if it doesn't directly relate to them, if there's something going on within the company, you're going to want to pass that information. It helps everybody feel like they're being informed in a personal way rather than in some team meeting. And the third thing you're going to do in this their future time is focus on coaching. What are the skills they need to develop in order to succeed in the job they have and in order to succeed in the job they may want in their future, whether that job is with your company or not? The idea of the their future part is you are caring for them. Now, let's go back and address some of the key points, some key takeaways, some of the why behind this. 30 minutes a week, every single week. Here's why we do that. Is because it does allow if you had to miss a week because of a vacation, because of a sick day, it does allow us to stay on target even if we miss a day. Now, I would encourage you, if you as the supervisor are going to miss a day, or they as the direct are going to miss the day, you still schedule that one-on-one that week for a different time. Reschedule it. If you're out of town, reschedule it. If you're out of town on business, have that meeting over Zoom. Have that meeting over Teams. Have that meeting over the phone for all I care. But have that meeting 30 minutes every week. The reason why we focus on the job rather than just the person is this. If you consistently show up late to the meeting or consistently miss the meeting, you are telling your employee, your direct, that they're not that important. And even if you spend all of your time focused on the relationship with that person, you've told them that whatever's going on is more important in time than they are. I've made that mistake enough times to know it to be true. You'll find that if you make the schedule and set to it, you're going to be telling the individual that they matter. And just by asking some things about their world, whether they open up about it or not, it does say that they matter. But the other thing that goes on here is you're telling the people that not only do they matter as a person, you're telling that their work matters. If you spend all of your time every week focused on what's going on in their life, but not their job, you've told them that they may matter, but their work doesn't matter. And nobody wants to know that their work doesn't matter. They have done the job they have done so that they can feel like there is some purpose to their life, some value they are bringing, even in an organization they may not really enjoy working in, or a job they may not appreciate or value. They still want to know that what they did mattered. They want to know that their supervisor recognized it. So you want to give them a chance to tell others that my work got done and the work that I do matters, that you as my supervisor understand my work and are able to give feedback into my work. But the third component of these meetings and why they're so important is what they tell an employee, an employee, I was right the first time. What they tell an employee is that their future matters. I want to help you become better whether you are here in the future or not. I want to help develop the skills you're going to need to continue to progress in your career, that your future matters. You're telling them when you run a 30-minute meeting this way, they matter as a person, their work has value, and they have potential in their future. There is nothing better that you can do for the good of the organization and the good of the people than to tell them that every single week. Now, there's a lot of details, a lot of nuance to it, but at the end of the day, that's the point. 30-minute meeting every week focusing on their world, their job, their future. When you do that, you will quickly see that your entire organization begins to align substantially faster, mistakes get resolved substantially quicker, people develop at higher levels, and the overall organization runs better. If you want help with some specific details for how to do one-on-ones for your company and for your directs and teaching your supervisors, reach out to me through here or through gormancoaching.com and let me help you continue to develop those skills in your specific organization. Thanks, everybody. See you soon.